This is Daniel Seberg in New York. It's been called the Twitter, even the Facebook revolution. First, the revolt in Tunisia. Now, the chaos in Egypt. Young people in both countries turn to the internet to organize rallies and spread a message of dissent. In Egypt, the current protests began early last week, announced on Facebook, word of which rapidly spread on Twitter. According to American University of Cairo journalism professor Firas Al-Atrakhchi.
People were tweeting on Tuesday, January 25th from Liberation Square in downtown Cairo, and their friends, colleagues, or other people who were following these tweets said, hey, you know, I should be out there, I should be standing in solidarity with them.
Later in the week, the Egyptian government pulled the plug on the country's internet and cell phone communication. Until Friday, Egyptians enjoyed a relatively open and unfettered internet, more so than just about any other Arab country.
Social media has been the only outlet for a lot of people to vent their frustration. So when the government imposed this internet blackout and cut off Egypt from the rest of the world, there was significant anger. And I think that backfired on the government and brought more people out into the streets.
But while social networks and cell phones can offer new ways of starting a revolution, there are also those who argue that we can't forget about the dark side of these so-called internet freedoms.
It's all about sharing your location, it's all about sharing your data, sharing your information, showing where you are. And of course, all of that can be very easily exploited by dictators of the secret police.
Evgeny Morozov, author of The Net Delusion, says using social networks can be downright dangerous for political activists.
We actually see a lot of authoritarian governments in places like China and Russia and Iran actively turning to the internet to hunt for dissidents, to learn about their personal details, and to arrest them. Just this week, actually on Monday, the Iranian government hanged two Iranian activists for distributing footage of 2009 protests on the internet.
Regardless of how it's used, there's no question that when tanks are rolling by, buildings are in flames, and protesters are being beaten and shot to death, technology clearly takes a back seat.
Social media did not cause what we see happening in Tunisia and Egypt today, but it did act as a vehicle that might have increased the speed at which these things were unfolding.
And it's likely we have not seen the last of the internet's pivotal role as an agent for change.
Historians will look back at what has been happening and unfolding in the Middle East and North Africa right now with a sense that this has been a turning point.
For better or worse.